Hey guys, it's Shane here from Tank Hunt Miniatures, and we're doing another tier list rating. This week, doing the Imperial Guard tanks, so everyone's favorite. I would hope they're my favorite. So yeah, going by the same categories as last time: cost effectiveness, appearance, the ability to support other units, how strong it is it single use or versatile, and how good its unique ability is. So let's get right into it, starting with the transport tanks. Alright, starting off, we're looking at the Chimera. Now this is a must-have for mobile infantry armies. The Chimera is your go-to transport for pretty much every guard sort of model. It's basically what you use. it's the go-to, it's the fundamentals. So cost-wise, these are actually really good, these edition as well. Good price. I mean, I love the look. It looks really effective, really efficient. Yeah, the appearance of a Chimera has always been great. The support function is really good because you got that firing deck. You got the ability for the officers embarked to still give orders, so you can make it a mobile command center essentially. Being able to have that firing deck, yeah, you can have multiple things coming out of it. It's still really strong. It's not quite 2-up armor save strong. It's 3-up, but still, it does its job as a vehicle. Yeah, the only thing it really lacks on is the versatility. It only really has one sort of job. It's not going to be so much carrying the army as much as the troops inside are going to be doing it. So for that reason, Chimera gets an A tier. Definitely still a really good vehicle. Definitely needed. Now we're looking at the Torx. So the Torx is a relatively new addition to the Guard army. One that I'm not a huge fan of. Because, I mean, for what it does compared to the Chimera, this is faster. It's got the rapid deployment, so you can advance and then get out. But, you know, is that really that effective? Depends on the army, I guess. But, yeah, it's not that much better than a Chimera. I think most of the times Chimera is going to be more effective. And, yeah, it just doesn't have a lot of good weapon options. The autocannon, twin-linked, yeah, that you might be able to get something, do something effective with that, but it's not really that likely. So cost-wise, yeah, it's alright. Looks-wise, it's no. This has always been a point of contention for a lot of people. There's a lot of conversions you can get to turn the square wheels into just regular ones. Yeah, the square tracks just don't look good. And yeah, like most things to do with looks, it's very much personal preference, but no, I don't think this looks good. Yeah, lacks versatility, lacks strength, so Torx is going into a C tier. But when it comes to the Torx Prime, we're looking at very much a different vehicle, despite how similar they are. Because this guy can deal a lot of damage. I've had the Torx missile launcher do crazy good in games. It's just fast, it's low profile, it's got a good strength to it. And yeah, it's got great accuracy, and its ability to support the guys that come out of it for the fire support rule, that's really good. Like if you're doing a Scions build and just brought a bunch of primes as well, that's such a good build. So yeah, Torx really has everything except, again, the looks. It's too stupid for me to like. It's just, no, I don't agree with it. So that it only gets to the A tier. But of course, if you actually enjoy the way the Torxes look, the Torx Prime, then yeah, definitely that's an S tier for looks. But for me, it's only an A. That's the one thing holding it down. And maybe, yeah, if it just had wheels instead of the tracks, that would get it to S. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, for some reason it just doesn't fit with me. But yep, still really good choice. A tier. So now we're looking at the Hellhound. A really classic vehicle for the Militarum. Yeah, you got the massive flamer, that's what most people take, but they've sort of rounded it down, and the Hellhound is now the Chem Dog and the Devil Dog. So yeah, it's all the one profile now, which is kind of a shame, because now you can only bring 3, you can't bring 3 flame tanks, 3 melter tanks. But maybe that would be a bit too much anyway. But anyway, Hellhound, yeah, great versatility. You're going to find that with a lot of these tanks. They're really good cost-wise, because that's what you want to be doing with the guard. It's just able to bring a lot of things. So, looks-wise, yeah, it's on the same Chimera chassis. But yeah, just with that cool turret up top. Yeah, it's strong. It's got great support, because once you shoot something, and then, yeah, it loses the cover. So it really helps other things to flush them out, as they say. The only thing it really lacks is sort of the versatility, because once you pick what this thing's going to be, is it going to be anti-armor, is it going to be anti-infantry, you're sort of stuck with that. But aside from that, Hellhounds are great. Yeah, definitely still one of the best sort of smaller tanks you can bring. So that's an A tier for the Hellhounds. Now the Hydra is an odd one, because I didn't include the other tanks like the Basilisk, the Manticore, because they're artillery, so they don't quite fit the same role as a tank, because they're only going to be put in one spot, just be tucked away far in the back and just shoot things as far away as you can. But Hydra is different. It's still got the long range, but it's not classed as an artillery tank. So this is just your dedicated anti-air tank. And for being an anti-air tank, this does really well. Not just in, being anti-air, which case it's pretty much always hitting, always wounding with the twin linked and the reroll to hit against fly. But yeah, it's still effective enough if you wanted to shoot something on the ground. Yeah, it's just because it's dedicated fly doesn't mean it's not going to be able to do the job elsewhere. So yeah, the autocannons are pretty good. So yeah, all up for the Hydra. It just loses out on some versatility, some support. Like, it's not going to be destroying any big targets. It's pretty much knows what it's supposed to be doing. So yeah, B tier for the Hydra. It's still a good choice. So now we're getting into the Leman Russ territory. So let's start off with the main battle tank, which is still really good. I think it's probably one of the most versatile sort of tank profiles, with the high strength, good damage, not great AP, but you're doing a lot of shots. It's going to be really good against larger targets, smaller targets. I've had great results with this. It already has the rerolls built into it, so it's pretty reliable. You're pretty much always going to be able to do something effective with the main battle tank, and yeah, it's pretty well costed as well. So yeah, definitely an A tier. It doesn't quite have the same support as the other ones do, and you'll see why in a minute. But yeah, Leman Russ battle tank, that's A tier, solid A. Okay, so the Demolisher. Now this does big damage. This is a crazy good one. It's the same with like the Vindicator for the Space Marines, where you can get it into combat. It's still going to be firing just as effective, being surrounded. So this guy you can put up the front, he's still going to do damage. For that reason, this guy's getting an S tier. It can do everything, it can take everything. Yeah, there's no real downside to the Demolisher. It's a bit more expensive, but cost effective wise, it's still good. Yeah, I'd definitely say a Demolisher is always a good choice as well. It's gonna do its work. Now the Eradicator cannon is sort of in an odd spot. You'd sort of see it as sort of like a long range sort of flame cannon tank, where it's ignoring the cover. It's pretty much good against just sort of infantry type units. But yeah, it's odd because it's long range, but again, its ability is so it can be getting stuck in and shooting into combat. Yeah, in an odd place. I'm not quite sure what its real role is supposed to be. Well, as it says, urban warfare, but it's primarily just an anti-unit tank, anti-infantry tank, which isn't a bad thing. It just loses its versatility. So yeah, it's only going to get a B tier. Like the Eradicator, yeah, I'd maybe just bring one and see how it goes. The Executioner, again, is sort of in an odd spot, because the Plasma Cannon's pretty good. It's pretty much, again, it's just for your more armored infantry. Think Space Marines. It's definitely a Space Marine killer. Its ability is kind of odd, where, it gets the ability to hit better against, just with the Plasma Cannon. against half strength, but it's got a lot of shots anyway. So if you were targeting a unit that was below half strength, it'd sort of feel like you were wasting a lot of what it could do. So yeah, it just seems a bit odd. You want to focus on this finishing off weaker targets, but it's almost strong enough that it would almost fully wipe a larger squad. So yeah, I guess it's just more reliable at doing that, but it feels like you could have something maybe a bit weaker, something a bit cheaper doing that instead. But, you know, it's still got all the benefits of being a Leman Russ, and the cannon's definitely pretty strong. It's just, yeah, it's not as useful as maybe some of the other ones. So Executioner, yeah, we get ranking B again. So then looking at the Exterminator. Now the Exterminator I haven't had a lot of use out of, but the more I look at it, the more I realize how useful it is. Because the autocannon, you know, it's reliable shots being rapid fire. So, with a pretty good range as well. And its ability to, you know, take something down with its autocannon. So if you're not going to try and take something down completely, have other things then be able to help its armor penetration. Like, that's really useful. So you can either use it to sort of weaken something, expecting someone else. There's a lot of combos you can do. And yeah, being twin linked and that amount of shots, it's really good. It's a lot of damage. So it's really reliable. So yeah, the Exterminator, like I said, I don't see it used that often, but this guy's an S. Like, he just, it should be able to handle almost anything and just really helps everything. Like, it would never be a bad choice to bring one of these guys, because they're going to, yeah, be able to help take out larger stuff, or, yeah, take out even Space Marine squads pretty reliably. So, yeah, Exterminator, that's an S. The Punisher is a really great looking tank. I love the Punisher. Yeah, it's really iconic. But yeah, it's pretty much one of the best things to just mow down infantry, like just light infantry, like gaunts, yeah, other guardsmen, cultists. This guy does so much good work. But of course, being so good at that, he loses his versatility. So once again, B tier for the Punisher, because as much as I enjoy it, as much as I think it's a really great tank, there's only so much this guy can do. So yeah, B tier Punisher. And on the complete opposite side of that, we've got the Vanquisher. With the Vanquisher battle cannon, just its one shot, monster killer. Tank killer, monster killer. I wish this guy was a bit better at hitting things. Aside from that, he's, you know, it's pretty reliable. It's going to take out another enemy tank or monster pretty good. Yeah, so for what it does it really well. But it only really does one thing. So, so like everything along the same sort of lines as that, each sort of Russ is designed for a very specific duty. It's just some of them, you know, they're able to encompass everything with that. So the Vanquisher, still good, but yeah, only a B tier, as it has a single sort of purpose. So that's all the Leman Russ out of the way. So let's have a look at the Rogel Dawn. One of the newest tanks to come into the setting, and a real good addition. It took me a while to sort of figure out how exactly to run this guy as best as you can, but yeah, now that I've got the hang of him, he's really good. Definitely strong. I love the look. Like, you know, comparing to the other newer tanks, like I said, the Torx, this really fits. This really fits the theme. It feels old, like modern old, as it does still futuristic. So it's got a great vibe to it. Real good versatility. You know, you can get this guy kitted out so he can be anti-infantry or anti sort of armor. The only thing he doesn't do great is against big large targets, but you know, he still does better than most. So definitely got to give it off to this guy. Yeah, the only thing he doesn't do is really support other things around him, but you know, he's gonna take the job. He's gonna get up there. He's gonna do what he's meant to do. He doesn't really need to be supported that much. He's really a lone wolf in this case, but he definitely does it well. So Rogaldorn, that's an A tier. Definite A tier for the Rogaldorn. So that's all the just the regular tanks. So let's look at some Forge World ones. And of course, Forge World, it can really go either way. It's you flip a coin for anything being good or bad. So let's look at Carnodon. Carnodon, I've always really liked. I love the look of it. It's very much an older, yeah, given that heresy look, it's like an older pattern, like Predator. Just a very sort of jankily put together, very sort of rigid looking. I love it. I love the Carnodon. I think it looks great. But yeah, real versatile as well. You can equip this guy with pretty much anything. And with his ability to reroll the hits in the deployment zone, this guy does really good. So yeah, it's definite improvement from last edition. He didn't really, yeah, he basically undersold himself last edition. So this is a real improvement. Yeah, I will have to try and take some more sort of Carnodons in the future. But yeah, definite for what it can do. It's, yeah, just slightly not as good as a Lehman Russ, but it's got a lot of more interesting stuff it can do. So yeah, definite A for the Carnodon. Now on to one of the weirdest tanks of this entire edition, the Colossus, which I think looks really cool. It's like a really cool big bombard, and I thought I wasn't even going to include it, but this isn't an artillery. It doesn't have the artillery keyword. It's not what it does. So this is really weird. So the siege mortar that it has isn't indirect fire either. So it needs line of sight, but it has 120 range. Why? That's... oh, I don't get it. It has blast, but it's only got D6 attacks. It's not plus anything like some of the other ones. It's only strength 6, but it's if it remains stationary, it's anti-monster and vehicle 5 up with devastating wounds. So it's designed to, even though it's very low strength, very low AP, but high damage, with the ability to convert it to mortal wounds better than most things, and it's anti-large. What is it trying to... why is this? This doesn't make any sense. It's so backwards. So yeah, this is the most confused vehicle with tank in the entire game. It doesn't make any real sense who came up with how this thing works. It's just so backwards. So yeah, I definitely, everyone go look this tank up. Just see if you can make sense of it. See if there's something I'm missing of why this would be worth taking, because I mean, this is more expensive than like a Basilisk, and a Basilisk is going to do so much better than this thing. So yeah, the only real thing I can give it is points for its ability, because yeah, I mean, having the devastating wounds, you know, 5 up if it stood stills, but then again, if it stays still, it's gonna get lethal hits anyway. I'm done with this. And it looks cool. I love the look. I still do. It's Forge World. Forge World have a real good look to it. So this guy's D tier. If you don't like how it looks, then you can put this E. If you can put this F if you want. I wouldn't argue that point. But yeah, this is pretty much the worst tank in the entire game. So I just really wanted to get that across, that someone has really made a mistake with this gun. or they just did it on purpose. Maybe they did. But yeah, D tier for the Colossus. So now we're looking at the Crassius. Crassius is as cool as heck. This is just a big infantry delivering tank. This is really, yeah, what Forge will do. Just, yeah, load up a bunch of guys, yeah, into this big transport. It's big, it's bulky looking, it's square. It's great. 2-up save. This thing's really, really tough, really hard to crack. And yeah, you just roll it all in just deploy everything. There's a lot of guard that fit into this. It's 3 Chimeras worth of guard. You're just unloading, and they're all just re-rolling the wounds. They're just going to come out, and it's going to do so much damage. So it's so much fun. The Crassi is a great choice. Like I said, I don't see this one getting used often, and that's a real shame. I think this would be really fun. Like a real fun mech heavy list. You could just load everyone up, so you got this really small profile at the start of the battle, and then yeah, after turn 2 and you've unloaded everything out, and just quickly storm the board, rush it all up. So this is very underappreciated, I think, is the Crassius. So yeah, that's an A tier for the Crassius. It just loses points because it doesn't have any real high strength sort of weaponry. It's all very low strength weapons, and it doesn't have any firing points either. So, but yeah, really good. And now for one of my most favorite tanks. I know I said a lot, but this is another one, the Malcador. So we can pretty much fit all of them just into one, because they, you got a few different loadouts with the Malcadors, but overall, they're all an A tier. They really helped them this edition. Last edition, they just didn't really have a spot. They couldn't really be supported. It was always better to bring other stuff. So, yeah, the Malcador now, really well received. Good abilities of just either, being more effective in shooting, more defendable. Yeah, it's just an older school, Rogel Dawn type tank. Before them, we had Malcadors. And yeah, they're really tough this edition. And they all have enough weapons to pretty much field every sort of role. Like, they all have like a really high strength damage. You're able to equip them with either a lot of stubbers, a lot of autocannons, or a lot of las cannons. Real good versatility with the Malcadors. And yeah, the Infernus, I love the Infernus. I think the Infernus gun has taken a bit of a nerf. It used to be a lot more attacks, but it is the cheapest one, so it's cost effective still. So yeah, definitely Malcadors, that's A tier. Really happy with that. So definitely, if you haven't given a Malcador a try, give it a try. And last but not least, we're looking at the Praetor. Now this is a big sort of, it's the same line as, should it be an artillery? Well, no, it doesn't have the artillery keyword, but it acts very much like a big, heavily armored artillery tank. This guy is great. Really versatile because you got the 2 modes of fire, the anti-infantry one and the anti-vehicle one. Really good. It's sort of in that weird place, the Praetor, the foe hammer one, because it's only strength 4, but of course it's anti-monster, anti-vehicle 4 up. So it's like you want to be hitting something really large anyway, and the force and not the strength is sort of irrelevant, but you could have made it a bit higher. You could have made it a bit stronger, but either way, it's doing its job really good. And yeah, your ability to just buff this guy up, yeah, it's really good because you can get this guy to hitting 2s out of cover. Into cover and with ignoring. Like, this is amazing. Yeah, no, the Praetor is definitely a sleeper unit. I think very effective. You could do a lot with this guy. So Praetor, that's an S tier. Really good. I would really suggest these guys. If you were running maybe like a lot of infantry and you just wanted one sort of vehicle that could just handle everything rather than a few different ones, you just wanted one that could take care of multiple things. You just take a Praetor. So yeah, that's an S tier. Alright, well, that's it for this one, guys. As you can see, we got a lot of A tiers. There's a lot of like good tanks we have for the guard. But I think that really speaks to them being, you have something that can do sort of a more specific job. Not everything's going to be able to, be a one-man army on its own. You want everything to sort of work in harmony with the rest of your army. So, yeah, a lot of A's and B's is pretty much what you'd expect. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. I had a lot of fun doing this list, looking at these tanks. And, yeah, I'll try and get another one up soon. But until then, I'll see you guys soon. Bye.